Sedgwick County Commissioner Michael O'Donnell pleads not guilty to charges of bank and wire fraud and money laundering. O'Donnell's still not commenting on the federal charges that he misused campaign funds. Fact Finder 12 investigator Rachel Skida was there as O'Donnell appeared in court. Rachel? Thank you, Rachel. O'Donnell attended his first county commission meeting this morning since that indictment was unsealed. He was the last commissioner to enter this morning's meeting that began at 9. I spoke with him as he arrived in the building. He said he was not commenting under advice from his attorney. And when I asked if he would be commenting about those charges in the meeting, he also said no. During the meeting, O'Donnell spoke to vote and once as the county decided to remove a person from the Citizens Board. As far as the federal charges he faces, no one commented. Michael, is there anything you'll say for your constituents?
I think a little more this afternoon.
Why didn't you end up speaking? You've been fairly vocal in the past and called for his resignation last week.
Well, that's exactly why. I didn't really think it was necessary. I have issued a press release last week, and I have been vocal in the past, and I think my position is well known.
Commissioner Richard Ranzau has already called for O'Donnell's resignation. New now, these two people are formally charged with murder in the death of 2-year-old Tony Bunn. Bunn's mother, Elizabeth Woolheater, and her boyfriend, Lucas Deal, appeared in court this afternoon. Michael Schwenke's at the Breaking News desk with a look at the charges. Thank you, Michael. The father of Lucas Hernandez is arrested and in court today for a case not related to Lucas's disappearance. Jonathan Hernandez is charged with battery, a misdemeanor. Fact Finder 12 investigator Devin Fastbinder has the accusations. Thank you, Devin. Well, another summer-like day today, but there is some heat relief for your Mother's Day weekend. Meryl Teller explains.
Yeah, a little bit of heat relief.
That's absolutely true. There are so many stories on this one street, and it's just a small portion of Houston that is flooded. In fact, we're technically not even into Houston proper in this area. I was told that the National Guard spent at least an hour here yesterday with a helicopter rescuing people from these homes. I'm going to go ahead and step out so you can take a look. Now, there were people that were returning back here today who had evacuated. They came to check on their valuables, check on their neighbors, and see how high the water is now, and reportedly it is higher. And we're told that some people who lived on this road say that this actually flooded just last year and they had just finished making repairs. But they say it's still nothing quite like this level of damage. So many are already thinking about how long it will take to rebuild, but are grateful to be safe. Melissa, the floodwaters are receding. We were at this shopping center yesterday and can tell that it is going down. But as you can see behind me, there are still vehicles that are partly submerged here. Now, earlier today, I was in a neighborhood that is still greatly flooded. They actually told us that we were the first television station into that area. So I took a ride to survey the flooded damage. Picking up passengers, the driver of this truck ferries people back and forth to their flooded homes.
Everybody's losing their home. It's harder for everybody to get around. Everything's just difficult.
This is in southeastern Houston, where rising waters keep neighbors on edge.
The water has risen a lot. It's hard to go into the roads and everything. We can't go anywhere.
Do you see where the flags are? That's the dealership.
Malia Flor Torres is visiting her uncle. That's his car dealership.
All the water got in the car. The seats are wet. Everything's messed up.
The vehicles are a loss, they say, but he did have insurance. So much loss across this entire city, but a recurring theme. Neighbors helping neighbors.
They're nice for taking everybody to where they need to go. Without them, where would everybody go?
Now, it's going to take a while to get the idea of just how much damage was caused here in Houston. Definitely a lot. However, some things are starting to return to normal. Many streets are opening back up, and the Houston airports are starting to get flights back in the air, but still on a diminished capacity. Roger, as you saw, we were just inside the house as the family was watching that press conference, and they were upset by a couple things in that. First of all, the discrepancy between the fact that the caller had said that it was a one-story house, and as you can see, we are standing in front of a house that is several stories. They also said if they were anticipating a hostage situation, why didn't they already have ambulances on standby? And then the big one is the mother was mentioning that her son did not get any verbal warnings from officers. Instead, he came to this door here where you can see the screen door has been removed because officers, she said, shot him through that screen door. She says that he was not given any advance warning. I spoke to her earlier as she led me through the house.
I was in my room back there. I heard my son scream, then I heard a shot. And as I was coming by, they said, "Come out with your hands up." They did not offer that to my son. They did not say one word to him. He opened the door, they opened fire.
Andrew Finch was shot and killed by an officer after a call came into police with false information. He had 2 young children who weren't at home when the shooting happened.
He loved family. Family was everything to him. I mean, there's nothing he wouldn't do for anybody.
He was very loyal, he was faithful, and he was caring.
Police said they got a call that a man had been shot in the house and the family was held hostage. That was not the case, and now the family's left with asking why he was shot.
I'm in shock. It's in denial. I didn't want to believe it. He didn't deserve this. Nobody deserves to get murdered in cold blood.
They also want to know who made that phone call to police. Finch's mother said officers told her it was a swatting call, someone making a false report to try to get a SWAT team to respond.
And I asked, if they catch the person who made the phone call, are they going to be charged with murder? As will the cop be charged with murder?
So the family once again says that they want to see all of that body camera footage. Once again, just 7 seconds were showed, and we are going to go ahead and review the rest of that. The family also wants more answers when it comes to the people who made that call that led to the death of 28-year-old Andrew Finch.
I'm in denial, totally in denial.
I don't want to believe it. He didn't deserve this.
Wichita officers thought they were dealing with a hostage situation, but the call turned out to be a swatting prank call. It cost a man his life.
Due to the actions of a prankster, we have an innocent victim.
And family has a message for the person who made that call.
Whoever made that 911 call, you're a murderer and you're an accomplice.
Los Angeles police confirmed they arrested 25-year-old Tyler Barris in connection to the swatting call. Police believe Barris made a false call to yield a response from a SWAT team to this home in South Wichita. Barris was arrested around 3:15 Friday for a felony charge, although the booking report doesn't specify the exact charge at this time. A YouTube vlogger who goes by Keemstar uploaded this video Friday night. And as Katie Johnson explains, the host says he interviews the man who is behind the swatting call believed to be Barris. We know Tyler Barris is 25 years old and lives in Los Angeles. He was previously arrested in 2015 for a bomb threat at the ABC studios in Glendale. That's where we found this mugshot. Now, police believe he is the voice behind the call leading police to Andrew Finch's home in southwest Wichita.
Yeah, I'm thinking about, because I already poured gasoline all over the house. I might just set it on fire.
Okay, well, we don't need to do that, okay?
Finch's family says they do not know the man who called authorities to their home. Andrew Finch's family is holding a candlelight vigil tonight to honor and remember him. The vigil is at the home where he was shot by Wichita police officers. Kira Ely is live at the vigil with reaction from people there. Kira? Thank you, Kira. We're continuing to ask questions tonight to get you the answers. We want to know who the players involved in the Call of Duty game were and how they're related to the Wichita address. We're also asking what the penalty for swatting is and who should be held responsible. We'll continue to keep you updated with all the information as we gather it. Look for updates first on the KWCH app. Switching gears now, Kansas is in brutal cold to finish off the year. Meteorologist Sarah Fletcher's in the Weather Center, and Sarah, temps in the teens today. But it looks like we should expect even colder tonight. Thanks, Sarah. Well, no weather like this just yet for Wichita, but check out the scene from Michigan. This is on a highway near Grand Rapids where about 40 cars were involved in a crash. Authorities say there was little visibility when the first car spun out, causing a chain reaction. Amazingly, only 3 people were hurt, and they are all expected to be okay. Now, if there is snowy weather in your area, you can, of course, watch and track and monitor weather on the Storm 12 app. You can check it out. There are hour-by-hour forecasts and a live interactive radar. The app's available on your iOS or Android app store. Just search Storm 12.
Breaking news.
Wichita police are investigating multiple homicides this afternoon. Now we're going to start right away with Akeem Ashford. He's live in East Wichita, where a man was found dead in a vehicle. Akeem. Thank you, Akeem. And here's a look at where that vehicle was found. Police say that the man was found on the 7800 block of Pageant. That's in East Wichita. And then 12 hours earlier and less than half a mile away, police found 2 people dead in a home. Right now, police say they don't know if these 2 incidents are related. Now, an update to breaking news overnight. Late Saturday night, a mother and son were found dead in their Wichita home. Now, Wichita police say they are investigating this incident as a double homicide. A 22-year-old woman returned home from work just after 11 p.m. and found her 62-year-old mother and 23-year-old brother dead. Neighbors say it's typically a quiet neighborhood, but describe that house as unusually busy. Police have not named any suspects yet, but they told neighbors there that there's no reason for concern. This morning in the Riverside area, officers found a woman dead in her home. Police say they don't believe that this is a random incident. Brittany Thomason is monitoring that scene and spoke with neighbors. Brittany. And we expect to hear more information from police during their daily police briefing Monday on all of these homicides. We'll stream that briefing live on our Facebook page starting at 10 a.m. The family of a 2-year-old girl is grieving today after a Friday morning fire killed the child and severely injured her father. We talked to several members of the family today about baby Aaliyah. Melissa, Andres Arambula is going to need some time before he can walk again. His hip was shattered by the bullet and his kidney and liver lacerated. His parents tell me they were on their way home from picking up the kids from school when a car cut them off. 4-year-old Andres Arambula is a strong little boy.
He told us.
Yeah, he told us.
He physically told us. He's like, Dad, I've been shot.
On their vehicle, below a baby on board sign, a bullet hole.
I don't even know what was going through my mind at first. Like, I'm sorry. It just...
The Arambulas say the silver Mustang cut them off at 17th and Broadway. The Arambulas honked at them.
And my sister ended up sticking her head out the window. Hey, watch out. You know, we got kids in here. What's your problem?
Exactly.
And they exchanged, you know, some words or whatever you want to call it.
As the situation escalated, the Arambulas tried to get away, but the Mustang was waiting.
And right there, the guy was out of the vehicle. His gun was in his hand, and he's ready.
The surveillance video shows the moment a shot is fired.
Why? What was going through their head? They knew. They know there were kids in the car.
Exactly.
I just really think that the guys and the lady who did this really deserves to pay.
I asked if there was anything he'd do differently today.
I would have rolled up the window and probably just turned around or turned off another way, you know. I mean, maybe even call the police right when it first started happening.
Andres now has a long road of recovery.
All I want is justice, of course, justice for my son.
I just like to ask everybody just to keep continuing the prayers for a safe, fast recovery for my son.
Yeah, for our son.
Because he's in a lot of pain.
The family will have large medical bills. Andres will be in the hospital for at least 10 days and will need physical therapy to walk again. If you are interested in helping, we have their GoFundMe page on our website. They wanted to thank the community as well as the police and firefighters who visited their son in the hospital. Well, you don't have to drive too far to lose cell service. If you take a look at this crowdsourced map, which is from OpenSignal, you can see that Wichita mostly has a strong signal. It's in the green there. But you zoom just a little bit out. In fact, around these areas, you see the red. That means a weak signal. And as you can see, many areas with no data at all. So that's what the grant would go towards, mapping the state to find the true dead areas.
Certain parts of town, you have to go to certain spots in your house to get a good reception.
No or poor broadband coverage is a problem that impacts many. From Lily Young's school.
At school, I mean, there'd be days when the Wi-Fi didn't work or whatever, and we'd have a problem. We'd have to reschedule whole plans for the week.
To farmers like Stephen McLeod, who also need to use high-tech equipment.
I'm not in a really remotely rural area. I'm just 3 miles north of Newton, and yet we're in an area that sometimes our cell coverage is quite good. Other times it's really poor.
A nonprofit will make a map that shows broadband availability across the state using a data collection process with the state's broadband providers. The Kansas Farm Bureau is challenging the accuracy of what areas cellular companies say are covered.
A lot of the main carriers have been able to identify areas that they say are covered when all of us know that they haven't been. And this is going to be an opportunity for a third party that can come out and verify where those spots actually are.
A state task force will also be looking into broadband issues. McLeod hopes this will bring better infrastructure.
If you want to attract young families, young professionals, perhaps who want to own and operate a small business, broadband is absolutely essential. And so I hope that the results of this test bring us to that point to where ultimately we get adequate coverage.
And as part of that challenge, the Kansas Farm Bureau is even encouraging people to use this FCC test. You can download the app and then run the speed test. You can see it's cycling right now. And it's going to end up telling you how quick your download speed is, upload speed, and tell where it is in different areas of Kansas.
I have not been to Kansas.
People like me coming from Delaware running for Kansas governor, it just doesn't make sense.
It'd be an honor to be the governor of Kansas. Is it the most likely outcome? Being realistic, I don't think so.
It's a deep and young field of candidates for Kansas governor with no age or residency requirements.
There's that article about the dog, right?
You do have to be human. 18-year-old University of Delaware student Connor Shelton is joining the race.
So I'm running almost like a political point to prove that there is just this hole in the Kansas legislation that allows for this to happen.
Fellow student Nicholas Schreiber is making a website and platform.
Reform the tax brackets to ensure that everybody pays their fair share, and also make sure that things like infrastructure, things like education are really getting their fair share of the cut, rather than shrinking state government and really hurting Kansans in the process.
These young men also say there is a gap between the age of those elected and the general population. 17-year-old Elon Cohen is a junior at a Maryland high school.
Hopefully we can engage teens in what we're doing and try showing that political advocacy and engagement is something for everyone.
Right now, there is a bill being proposed here in Kansas that would require candidates be at least 18 and have lived in the state for 4 years. I called another person listed on the Secretary of State website. His mother answered and said he is a college student on the East Coast, and it would have been nice if he told her he was running.